Jessie and Hammond, you're on Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. What can we do for you, sir?
Well, I'm calling for my daughter. She has a traditional IRA with one of the companies that you see advertised on TV. She has an opportunity to purchase 4 years of teaching with a private school, and she wants to roll that particular IRA into this fund that the Louisiana Teachers Retirement System has. When she has a form that has to be filled out by and signed by the company that's holding her IRA, and they won't sign the form. Is there a way for her to draw that out and put it into the teacher's retirement system without incurring a...
Does she have rights to that money? Is that her money from the plan rules?
Yes, she's the one who invested it.
Okay. Well, once again, so was it another school or something like that she had?
No. Can I mention the name of the company?
Yeah, we're not going to hate on them here. We're just trying to figure this out.
Well, I mean, I have funds as Fidelity.
Okay. Well, what it goes to is the plan rules. So if you got and we've seen this, there's like, and some of the parish school systems, and not to name names, we'll avoid that, but we're not hating on Fidelity here because actually, and I might have a little bias, we custody assets with them, but they're not the ones holding up. Because what you also have inside of that is they're handling the plan, but where that money's at or that employer, that company actually makes the plan rules.
No. This is a private traditional IRA that she funded herself. It's not affiliated with the school system or anything else.
It's an IRA.
She's wanting to roll her private IRA funds into the teacher's retirement system in order to purchase several years toward her retirement that she taught while she was teaching in a private school. So
this is just a regular IRA.
Correct. And whenever she contacted Fidelity, there's a section on the form that says, I certify that the funds being transferred to the Teachers Retirement System of Louisiana are eligible for rollover transfer and originate from a plan qualified under, and it's got the IRCs, and I think the particular one she's talking about is a 408A. I don't know.
Okay.
And Fidelity says they won't sign that section. So is there a way for her to get funds out of Fidelity and into the teacher's retirement system without incurring taxes?
Well, here's one thing. She does have a 60-day rollover right. And all IRAs are operated this way under the law, that you can do this once every 12 months without incurring penalties and problems and stuff. But it's once every 12 months aggregate of the accounts. And I had just pulled up lasers here. I would have to investigate this a little bit, but typically there's a hiccup if there's it's not clear that those funds would be accepted by the going to. And that's always the case. We had callers recently talk about, well, I've got my money at the old job. One of your options is to move it to the new job plan. And we had calls regarding 403Bs. Can I move it to a 403B? Yes, you can. But the key part is the new plan going to accept it? The old plan would release it. I'm a little confused here on the IRA, and there's probably a reason somewhere. I have to look into it. I can't just answer that to you because there's all these quirks on how plans work, on acceptance of that. But with that said, what I'm simplifying at, and this is something you would need to call my office and talk to me and my team about, is to make sure I'm not telling you something there's some quirk here that we're not aware of without a little bit of investigation. But I would think if you've got a 60-day rollover right, you can take the funds out of that and send to the new plan, and you've achieved that role. But I would have to check in to make sure that that's okay, because I don't want to tell you something that then it gets rejected and you've created a taxable event as well as a penalty event for doing so. So that's kind of what I always talk about, is these quirks that we may not know about.
Actually, I'm a client of yours, so
Okay.
but she is not, and I'm calling for her regarding this. And that's what I thought, that there was a way that she could withdraw the funds and then invest them in the teacher's retirement system to qualify for the transfer being non-taxable.
Yeah, and that is our objective, is that money to stay intact with that. And I threw out the 60-day rollover rule, but the quirk in that might be that it's got to be a direct transfer from the previous custodian to the new custodian as well, so they're able to source where the funds came from. There's a number of things, and for me, from that standpoint, and I appreciate you calling on the show to talk about this, but this is also something that we may need to look into a little bit more tomorrow to figure out what's going on there and why that is. Because we may call Fidelity and ask why, simply.
Yeah, because, see, the teacher's retirement system says unless this section of the form is filled out by the current custodian, they will not accept the funds and they will return them. And she has a 30-day window in order to be able to do this.
So how long do we have left?
30 days, or 20, let's see, the 25th of May.
Okay, so there's a little bit of time to figure that out, so we can work on that for you and help
so
get clarity.
Should I call tomorrow and ask for somebody specifically?
Yeah, call Chelsea tomorrow and ask for her and tell her you spoke to me on the phone last night, and that'll get the process started. I'll bring her up to speed in the morning as well.
Okay,
You'll be calling about, and we'll figure this out. And for the audience, we'll bring you up to speed tomorrow evening, what we figure out as well on that. So
Thank you very much.
Otherwise, we've been taking care of you?
Yes, sir, you have.
Okay. I appreciate you calling and trusting us. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The saga of Jessie and Hammond to be continued. If you want to be next, 504-260-0995. All right. Now, observations just from...
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'd like to hear your observations.
I'm a third-party guy. I didn't know what either side was going to say here. And it sounded overall like, yeah, it probably can happen. We just got to figure out where all the rules are and the roadmap and what actual I's we got to dot and T's we got to cross. But generally, you sounded like this is probably going to be able to happen.
Yeah, we just got to find out where the disconnect is. And maybe on Fidelity's end, it didn't get to the right department. I just don't know, but it should be able to go. He seems to be familiar with the rules of that, and that's what we'll drill down and figure out from that standpoint.
Did you try turning it off and back on? Sometimes that fixes it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Form 02-01A. It's an authorization for direct rollover. I don't know if that's the form he's looking at, but we will flat out figure out what's going on and get clarity as well.
Is that the old 012A? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one. Certainly do.
Yeah, on our previous caller, hopefully it's something as simple as maybe the wrong forms being used on that, because I'm looking at laser. I'm on the laser site, which might not be the correct one, but one, for example, they've got laser's acceptance letter of rollover of assets, and it just needs the member's signature signing off, authorizing such and such to make a direct rollover of qualified account to Laser State Employees Retirement System. It's kind of something simple, and not needing, let's see, Financial institutional signature. Financial institution agreement must be completed by the current plan trustee custodian. I am probably on the right form because now it needs a financial institution authorized signature. We'll have to figure that out. Like, why won't you sign and release that IRA to roll over? So hopefully it's just a lack of communication.